Today we're going to tell you a whole new story. Okay, let's begin. For me, it started out like any other day. Early in the morning, I took a shower and said goodbye to Amelia while she was still sleeping. I then drove to my building job. However, there was a surprise waiting for me. That normal day turned into something amazing. After work that night, I felt my phone buzzing in my pocket while I was at the building site. I saw a message from my friend Mike when I took it out. It said, "Dustin, your garage door is open." It didn't make sense to me because I was sure I had closed it. I thanked Mike and asked him to close it if that was okay with him. When he said it was okay, I went back to work. But the picture of the open garage door took over my mind. Something didn't feel right, but I couldn't put my finger on it. After having an early lunch, I decided to go back home. As I got closer to my house, my heart rate started to go up. A strange car was parked in my driveway, I noticed. It was the first car of its kind I'd ever seen. At that very moment, I felt a terrible feeling. I parked my truck in a quiet spot on the street and walked up to my house in silence. I was shocked to find that the side door to the garage wasn't locked when I opened it. The door from the garage to the house wasn't locked either. As I looked around the house without shoes on, I came across the saddest scene. On all fours, my wife Emily was being pushed from behind by a guy I don't know. My wife's moans filled the room. As the man kept hitting her around the waist and sometimes spiked her, her white skin turned red. My wife yelled something to tell him to hit harder. I saw the whole thing happen. I could not stand being angry. I felt like I was going to pass out because I was dizzy. When I took a step back, I took out my phone, turned off the flash, and took a few pictures of them. I quickly recorded them hanging out in my house. At that very moment, I knew that getting violent would only get me into problems. Bad things would happen again. The best way to get back at Emily would be to make her understand what she was losing. It was time for a clever plan that would let me get away without losing my honor. After seeing what I had done, I took a moment to think. Even though my heart felt like lead, I quietly left the house because I had a plan. It was my choice to get in touch with a lawyer I know. I asked my lawyer friend for help and told him everything that had happened. There was proof that we lived in North Carolina, so I could see if I could get my divorce payments lowered. My lawyer friend saw the proof I had. Even though he wasn't a divorce lawyer, he helped me figure out what I needed to do to stay safe and led me in the right direction. He gave me the name and number of a well-known divorce lawyer who could help. He thought she was pretty good. When I met with the divorce lawyer, I didn't waste any time getting all of the information ready. She made it clear that North Carolina was a no-fault state, which meant that adultery might not affect the receiving spouse's alimony payments. We talked about our plans for the future while we were working on the divorce papers. Emily had no idea what was going on at all. After a few days, I planned to meet my lawyer and Emily at a nearby coffee shop. With wide eyes, she asked, "Dustin, what's going on?" She seemed shocked to see me there. Emily stuttered in shock as I slipped the divorce papers across the table. Her face went from doubt to shock. She told him, "I don't get it, Dustin." As my heart beat fast, I turned to face her and told her, "Emily, I think you do. I saw that you were with him." I could tell she was coming to terms with it because her face turned pale. As she said sorry, tears were running down her face. Even though it hurt, I knew that was the right thing to do. Emily finally decided not to sign the divorce papers. By that time, I had already moved out of our house and found a small apartment on my own. That didn't bother me because Emily's parents owned the house. They gave her money the day after she got the divorce papers so she could hire her own lawyer. Still, her parents didn't know why I was separating their daughter. I also believed Emily would keep it from them. That's why I chose to show Emily's parents the video and pictures I took of her with that guy at our house. I wrote them a letter telling them I was divorcing their daughter. After about 6 weeks, her folks did not show up to the divorce hearing. The lawyer I hired told me that she would try to get spouse support. She wanted to let me know even though she didn't think it would work. The lawyer for my wife told the judge that I wasn't a good provider and that I had harmed her mentally in court. My partner kept telling lies. The judge told her to be careful about what she said because lying in court can get you in trouble, which is exactly what she was doing. Thank goodness the judge heard our case and divorced me without making her pay me anything. The judge told me I have exactly 30 days to get the rest of my stuff out of the house. I only had a few boxes left to pick up. I planned a time to get my things back 3 months after the split. I saw the same car parked in the garage that I had seen earlier that day. At first, seeing his car hurt, but it was over quickly. This time, I left the garage door open on purpose so I could get my things. Emily sent me a message one day asking to get together. I gave in even though I didn't know what she wanted. That diner was also where we met for the first time. That's where I gave her the divorce papers. That confident, happy woman she used to be seemed more like a pale ghost of herself than the confident, happy woman she used to be. She started to talk and told me how hard her life had been. She also said she felt bad about the decisions she had made and how much she missed me. I didn't connect with what she said or care about her point of view. I didn't say anything while she spoke. After that, I turned to Emily and wished her the best in everything. That time in my life is now behind me, though. She kept trying to change my mind, even after I made it clear that I was set on what I wanted to do. We agreed to get back together, and she told the other person she was done with them. As I walked out of the coffee shop, it occurred to me that I had won because I was happy with myself, not because Emily felt bad or embarrassed about what had happened. Things were going better in my life now that I knew my inner strength and kept living. I started over and slowly put my life back together. When someone wanted payback, they didn't have to hurt someone or be embarrassed in public. It was about moving forward in life with more strength and knowledge than I had before. After about 7 months, Emily's dad passed away from cancer. He never said sorry for how angry he was the first time he heard we were getting a divorce. Even so, her mother told her she was sorry and invited her to the funeral. I didn't have a problem with her mother, but I was thinking about not going. I've never been the type of person to hold grudges against other people. It's not possible to change the past. Over the next few weeks, things got worse, and rumors began to spread that Emily was getting into even more legal trouble. Over the weekend, she was caught driving drunk, and her current partner did bad things, like taking drugs from her mother's house without permission. How did I learn everything I know, even though my marriage ended after only 8 years, her mother still sometimes gets in touch with me, and she didn't go after it, even though she could have gotten spouse support for about half of that time. In any case, it did affect the choice that was made. I couldn't wait to find the other guy and yell at him. I was told not to do it by my lawyer. Thank you for seeing. If you like this video, don't forget to like, review, and subscribe so that you can see more like it. Until we meet again.